You're tuned in to Foolery.
I mean, literally, what you're saying is that no one should ever tell somebody that they're sinning because everybody sins. We already believe that
Mhm.
everybody is a sinner. So no one can go and tell another that they are living in sin.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's
That's
that
what I'm hearing.
if it's something that you're always doing, but you're not, if you're not looking in the mirror from time to time doing that yourself, then that's the problem. Okay?
Sure.
Does
Uh,
that does
okay, so
that?
okay, so if I can objectively tell this person
Mhm.
at the same time, hey, look, I hate to keep going back to this, you know, uh, same example, but it's for some reason this is just what I'm on. This is what I'm thinking of right now. So if I can go to the same person and say, hey, look, we're both drug addicts, man. We need to stop doing drugs.
Mhm.
I need to stop doing drugs and you need to stop doing drugs. So let's stop doing it together because we're wrong and we shouldn't be doing this and it's
Right.
ruining our lives and
Uh-huh.
it's a sin. We should hold each other accountable and help each other get off of drugs. Okay.
Okay.
Right then and there, you're
Uh-huh.
cool with that, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, then the very next day, we're both doing drugs, and I'm like, yo, stop it. Quit
Well,
doing drugs. I told you I was going to hold you accountable. Don't do drugs.
you
Like,
got to
I
hold
feel like,
yourself accountable too, though.
sure, yes, but I can still help him by,
Are
by,
are
by,
you helping him though? If you're still doing the same thing?
who knows, man? I mean, look, we're not talking about slut shaming here. Like, we're talking about something that we're both pretty sure is wrong in the first place. It's just a matter of which one of us is going to have the stronger will in the end. And if I can help this person outlive me while I'm still screwing up, I'm totally down for it. If they're not down for it, I don't really care because it's a matter of life and death right now, and I want to help them live anyways.
Well, you're lucky that I've heard stories of that actually working. So there was a guy that came when I went to KSU. There was a guy that came to speak to my sociology class, and he was telling us how he was on drugs and that he was at rock bottom basically, and one of his fellow junkies said, listen, man, like you need to go to rehab. All right. And he did go to rehab, and
Okay.
he's not a drug addict anymore. So
So what I'm hearing is that we should judge people.
so in judgment, there's something deeper called discernment. Okay. You have to judge the judgment. Say, can I make this judgment? Is this a good judgment to make? Okay? And then you can make the judgment. Is it a good judgment? Will this help somebody regardless of me? Will it help the other person? So, and that has to be a judgment. So it's not saying that you can't judge someone. It's saying that it's all about motives, and it's all about where you are as a person in making that judgment.
I don't want to beat a dead horse here. We got to wrap it up pretty soon. But I we're both in management positions in
Uh-huh.
our professions, and we can. I feel like we can go and maybe you're going to tell me there's a difference between your profession and religion, and fine. Maybe I'm making a bad example, but we can both have mistakes that we make in our profession while still holding the people that are below us accountable for the mistakes that they make.
Mm-hmm.
We can have, as long as we are not making those same exact mistakes, we should still be there to hold those people accountable and to tell them when they're doing wrong. And maybe we're just saying, hey, don't do it again, or maybe we're reprimanding them in doing something more permanent. But in the end, it is our responsibility and our duty to hold them accountable. And I feel like not just us as Christians, but us as human beings, as the human race, we have a responsibility to hold each other accountable. And if for some reason you are offended by the fact that I am telling you you're doing something wrong, then really it's not that you're offended. That's just guilt. You just feel guilty. And while in reality, you know that you're wrong. And it doesn't matter what I'm doing. We're talking about you right now. And we're talking about whether or not you're doing something wrong. And that's exactly what I would tell one of my employees if they turned around and said, well, hey, I saw you did something wrong the other day. I tell them, look, we can talk about that. If you wanted to say something about that, you should have said it at the time. But we'll talk about that real quick after we get done talking about you. Because right now we're talking about you. And so if I'm going to go and tell somebody that they're doing something wrong, sure, I should be fully prepared for them to turn around and tell me that I'm doing something wrong, which I assume is what you were saying in the beginning. If you're going to judge somebody, you need to be prepared to be judged as well, from Matthew, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I think that you gave a very good analogy, and I would agree with you. You said that they would feel guilt, and that's something that as Christians we need to understand, that instead of like a guilt, maybe we want to go for a conviction, because conviction.
I'm not saying I'm trying to make them feel guilty. I'm
Right.
saying
They
if they
just
are
feel
offended.
guilt.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm saying if they're telling
Mhm.
me that they're offended later and that
Yeah.
I shouldn't judge them because it's offensive, that really their offendedness is coming from their guilt. It's not
Mhm.
really that I said something offensive or something wrong. It's really just that they feel guilty about it and they're projecting that onto me.
Okay. I mean, I agree with what you said. So, but
So, Tim Cheetah, you heard it from him. You should judge everybody.
you need, yeah, but you gotta be you not that you should, but when and if you do,
Be prepared to be judged
be
back.
prepared to be judged, and check your motives for judging them.
Check your motives. Yes. Okay. That I am all for. If you are judging somebody, make sure that your motives are pure. I am all for that. If we can come to a conclusion on this, that if you are going to judge somebody, make sure that one, you are prepared to be judged back, and two, that your motives are for the betterment of that person, then please do judge them and let them know and try to help that person.
Word.